Hello, Godzilla faithful, and welcome to our first Godzillavangelists minisode. What is a minisode, you may ask? Well, we're only half sure ourselves. These could cover anything as super nerdy as a mini biography on one of the cast or crew behind Godzilla, or as flippant as breaking down one single, terrible special effects shot. Sometimes we might even leave Godzilla behind completely and talk about other movies. Sacrilege, I know. But whatever we cover, though, these episodes are going to be shorter and more straightforward, and the cast of hosts is never set. It could be just me like this time. It could be all three of us. It could be a couple of us and some guests. It could be none of us and some guests. Well, I don't know. That might be kind of crazy. But, the idea is this is super experimental. And I promise the title will always be clear so you can figure out if you're interested in listening to that episode or not. This week I'm coming to you alone to provide what I hope is going to be a helpful resource for new fans and the casually curious alike. So every show, we tell you what movie we're going to watch next and urge you to watch along with us. But a lot of Godzilla movies have multiple versions and multiple video releases, and they're spread out all over the internet and the marketplaces, so often you find yourself with many confusing options. Well, I'm going to do my best to banish your confusion today with a breakdown of how you can watch every Godzilla movie. I'm going to start with the most economical ways to see the movies, talk about the best ways to own them on disc, and then get into the really nerdy stuff. I'm also going to be only talking about relatively recent American releases because that's what I'm familiar with, that's what I know. Sorry if that bugs you. Before I get started properly, though, I have to mention some exciting news that could easily throw all of this up in the air. Through Janus Films, the Criterion Collection has licensed almost every Godzilla movie from the 1950s through to the 1970s. As of the time of this recording, you can only see these releases through the Starz network, but it's all coming to the fantastic Filmstruck service in December, and there are rumblings that all these movies could get a big boxed release like they did for the Zatoichi movies a few years ago. It's all super cool as a fan, because if you don't know, the Criterion Collection is known for their quality presentations of movies that often include a plethora of bonus features, which is great for us Godzillavangelists. If you really like the Godzilla movies, there's little question that a full release by Criterion would be the place to watch them, but any DVD and Blu-ray release isn't officially on the docket right now. I also don't know if Toho made any kind of exclusivity agreement with Criterion, so other sites that stream or rent these movies right now may not stream them in December. Fair warning. All that said, let's get into the movies. Part 1. Just watching the movies. So thanks to this Criterion deal, you'll be able to stream any of the following movies on Amazon as long as you have a Starz account, which you can get pretty easily through Amazon. And you can also watch them on Filmstruck. And those movies are Godzilla, Godzilla Raids Again, Rodan, Mothra vs. Godzilla, the 60s version, Ghidorah, the three-headed monster, Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, also known as Invasion of Astro Monster, War of the Gargantuas, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla's Revenge, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. Most of these you can also currently rent from Amazon, YouTube, or Google Play, or stream for free if you have a Shout Factory TV account through Amazon. However, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, Godzilla vs. Megalon, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, those aren't accessible that way. You're going to have to go through one of the Criterion ways for those movies. You can also stream most of the Godzilla movies from the 90s and the 2000s on Hulu. And that list includes Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah, Godzilla vs. Mothra, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla 2, Godzilla vs. Space Godzilla, Godzilla vs. Destroya, Godzilla 2000, Godzilla vs. Megaguirus, GMK, Godzilla against Mechagodzilla, the third Mechagodzilla movie, Tokyo SOS, and Final Wars. And yes, you can watch the 1998 American movie here too, all those on Hulu. And they all look to be available for rental on other networks like Amazon, YouTube, and iTunes as well. You can also rent Mothra, the 2014 Godzilla, and Shin Godzilla from just about all of those standard places too. Amazon, YouTube, iTunes, blah, blah, blah. That covers 27 of the movies we're planning to talk about. But what about the other 6? Well, officially speaking, you have to buy them on DVD or Blu-ray to see them. Fortunately, most of them tend to be very cheap, if pretty bare-bones discs. So this company called Kraken Releasing, they sell Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster, Godzilla vs. Gigan, and Return of Godzilla for about $7 or $8 each on Amazon. And then Universal has King Kong vs. Godzilla, and they sell it for about that price too. And then finally, there's Godzilla vs. Biollante. It feels like there always has to be a Godzilla movie out of circulation, and right now, it's this one. There was a great Blu-ray out there for cheap, but I guess it's gone out of print because now it's like $50 on Amazon right now, which is ugh. So if you want to watch all the movies, maybe try to save this one for last, or at least till we cover it, which will be a while. I bet it'll get a new release sooner or later. That should cover most people. Most people, they only want to give these movies a shot. But if you like them, if you want to own the other 27 movies, well, that will bring us to Part 2, Owning the Movies. The original Godzilla from 1954 actually already has a Criterion release, and it's great. It's available on DVD or Blu-ray, and it has both the original Japanese and the American King of the Monsters version, if you just need your fix of Raymond Burr. It's got beautiful video and some great bonus features, including new interviews with some of the original cast and crew. Now, there is one other option out there worth recommending. I can't believe it came out 11 years ago now, but Classic Media put out a double DVD set with both versions of the movies as well, and it has some bonus features that didn't make it to the Criterion set. Especially interesting are some commentaries by Godzilla historians. I love them. They're all very casual and fun. Classic Media also put out DVDs for Godzilla Raids Again, Rodan, Mothra vs. Godzilla, Ghidorah the Three-Headed Monster, Godzilla vs. Monster Zero, War of the Gargantuas, Godzilla's Revenge, and Terror of Mechagodzilla. They all have both the American and Japanese versions of the movie, and most of them have great bonus features as well. All the commentaries are worth listening to. They're great discs, if a little old now. Now, Sony put out the bulk of the other DVDs and Blu-rays that are available right now, and most of them are still in print. You can get every Godzilla movie from Godzilla vs. King Ghidorah to Final Wars on Blu-ray for them. So Godzilla's entire 90s and 2000s output, unless I'm somehow forgetting something. Most of the discs are bare bones, but there's some trailers and BTS stuff mixed in there, especially for the later movies. Only one of these movies, Godzilla 2000, had substantial changes to the American version, but all of these movies are available in English and Japanese regardless. Sony also put Mothra into a couple different bundles, and I think it's the same disc. It's a great disc if it's the one I'm thinking of. It has both versions of the movie and a commentary as well. Sony also put out the last available DVDs of Son of Godzilla and Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and both of those are long out of print and super expensive now. Neither of those movies had a really different American version, but regardless, only the Japanese versions were ever on disc. Both the 2014 Godzilla and Shin Godzilla are easily available on Blu-ray from Warner Brothers and Funimation, respectively. The American movie has a bunch of bonus features. The Japanese one is fairly lacking there, but both movies look fine. That just leaves us with Destroy All Monsters and Godzilla vs. Megalon, both of which were put out on Blu-ray and DVD by Media Blasters sometime in the last few years. Both of them were also pulled from distribution because Toho hadn't officially approved the bonus features. They're great. They're not particularly disparaging. I don't know why it happened, but it did, and it's kind of a pain because it's fairly easy to pick up the discs for these movies still, but if you want the commentaries they originally came with and all that good stuff, you'll need to scrutinize your purchase carefully and make sure you have the right printing. I do think any version of these discs should have both the dubbed and sub versions, however, so if you just want, both versions of the movie, that's there. That should cover anything a normal person or even a fan wants to know about watching the Godzilla movies, but let's say you are a super fan. You want to pick up the missing pieces, leave no stone unturned. Well, I can point you in the right direction with Part 3, all the nitpicky nerdy shit. Now, the biggest absence on the video market is the American version of Return of Godzilla, also known as Godzilla 1985. It's substantially different, one of the biggest re-edits of any version from Japanese to American. But if you want to watch it, you'll actually have to find an old VHS because it's never gotten a legal release on disc. Apparently, the rights for it are a nightmare. People have tried, but it's never happened. So in order to fill in this missing piece, you're really going to have to hunt for it. Strictly speaking, there's a few other movies that never got their American versions released on disc either. Godzilla vs. the Sea Monster, Son of Godzilla, Destroy All Monsters, and Godzilla vs. the Smog Monster have all been available on disc in English, but their original theatrical versions had small but interesting differences that you can only see on old VHS copies now. Any DVD that was ever put out for these were only the Japanese version. Sometimes it's in English. In one case, they even put out the original dub, but there were some cuts and changes that are only on the tapes. And for those of us who grew up on these movies, the dubs are totally different as well. Again, if you have that Destroy All Monsters Blu-ray with the special features, you can hear the old dubs, but the rest of them have never been on a disc. Then there's Godzilla vs. Gigan, Godzilla vs. Mechagodzilla, and Terror of Mechagodzilla, which had different titles and were all greatly chopped down on their theatrical debuts. While the less edited TV version of Terror of Mechagodzilla is on the classic media disc, none of these original theatrical edits have made it to video at all, as far as I know. Part 4. Ryan finally shuts up. I hope this was a big help, whether you're just looking for easy access to the movies, trying to pick up a copy of your favorite, or aspiring towards the complete collection a true Godzillavangelist requires. Let me know if you have any questions, or if you noticed something that I missed. Thank you for being so patient for our upcoming Mothra episode, by the way. I honestly think it's one of our best, so it'll be worth the wait. Our team is dealing with a lot of unexpected events over here, so it means a lot to us that you keep listening and letting us know that you love the show. Thank you. If you haven't yet, leave a nice comment or review wherever you like to listen. That would really help us out. That's it for this show, but we'll see you soon. In the meantime, keep spreading the word of Godzilla.